Hey there, this is James Wilson with MTV Strength Training Systems and BikeJames.com. And in today's training tip, I want to go over a great upper body exercise, the kettlebell shoulder press. Now, while you can use the dumbbell and apply a lot of these same training tips, I find that the kettlebell offers some pretty good, unique training benefits, and so that's why I recommend it and why I'm going to demonstrate it in this video. So first and foremost, show you what the kettlebell shoulder press is, go over a couple of the basic things you want to look for on it, and then give you a couple of tips to help you get a little bit more out of it. So first thing you want to do is make sure that you get clean up to your rack position. Okay, first tip, you need to make sure you got a good strong rack position. So you need your thumb in line with, maybe a little bit below your collarbone. For the most part, if your thumb's above your collarbone, we're shrugging up too much. And you would imagine you've got a towel trapped in your armpit and someone's trying to tug that towel out from behind you. So you'll feel your lats get nice and tight. So once you've got that set, feet set about shoulder width apart, you're gonna press the kettlebell up, locking your elbow out. If you're looking at yourself from the side, you can see I've got my bicep lined up with my face. It's not in front of my face, so bicep lined up with my face. I've got my wrist straight, not letting the kettlebell break it back, and I've got my elbow locked out. And again, I'm nice and strong here. I'm not leaning back into my lower back. I'm squeezing my thighs together. You know, think about squeezing a quarter between your butt cheeks, nice and tall and thin. So I want to form a nice straight line. I don't want to see any curves in the press when you're at the top. And then when you're done, you're going to pull it back down to your start position, and then you can repeat. So a couple of things will help you get more out of your press. And the first thing I already covered, which is your rack position, and that's finding your lat. If you can get that lat nice and tight, and then keep that nice and tight as you press the weight up over your head, and then think about using that lat to pull the weight back down to your rack position, your shoulder will be a lot more strong and stable. If the lat's not doing its job and you're making the shoulder and the chest stabilize the shoulder, then you're going to not have them available to press as much. And actually, a lot of times when people end up with bicep tendonitis or problems with the rotator cuff, the problem is that their lat isn't staying engaged as they move, so their shoulder and chest are having to take over its duties, which means that those little secondary muscles that are only supposed to be assisting end up having to take over the movement. This is very common with the shoulders, especially with us as mountain bikers, because a lot of us tend to have this forward shoulder posture. And this is one of the reasons that overhead pressing is so good for us. One reason, when you get a weight overhead, this is one of the best core stabilization exercises you can do, is hold a heavy weight over your head. And it's also a good indicator of your overall shoulder health. If you can't get into this position, then it's an indicator that you need to work on your shoulder mobility, or you're going to be facing some issues down the road. So again, make sure that you're focusing on those things. Now, a couple things that will help you get a little bit more out of this. Again, like I said, getting the lat engaged. And then also, when you press up, don't think about reaching for the ceiling. Think about driving yourself down into the ground, almost like you're trying to press yourself under the kettlebell. And when you do that, you're going to feel your feet get heavy, feel your core engage a little bit more. So that visual will help you get stronger. It'll also help keep your shoulder down away from your ear. We don't want the shoulder coming up. We want the shoulder staying down. And then last but not least, connect your breathing to your shoulder press. So you sniff in at the bottom, and then on the way up, you're going to let out just a little bit of air, that visual of air escaping from a tire. So at the top, you can let it out, and then again, sniff in to bring it down. So again, show you how that would look with the kettlebell. Sniff in. So that's your basic shoulder press there. And again, a couple tips to help you get more out of it. Mainly just get the lats engaged and get your breathing connected to it. So once you've got the basic shoulder press down, those two things will help take it to another level and help you get more out of it. So hopefully you've enjoyed this training tip. Once again, this has been James Wilson with MTV Strength Training Systems. You can check me out on the web at BikeJames.com, and I'll talk to you next time.